Hello YouTube, we've got another good, cool video tutorial by Frostyones. Today we're going to be looking over Hypercam. To get Hypercam, you go to hyperonics.com, as you see I've done here. They have two products, Hypersnap and Hypercam, and also two free softwares, free calculator and filebox extender. Today you're going to get Hypercam. So you can download Hypercam, and it's a software which you have to pay for, and if you don't, it leaves a little note on the side of your video. Anyways, once you get Hypercam, you get something like this, but we're just going to look at the features and details. Screen area. Start X is starting from the corner of your screen, and Start Y is starting from up on the top. So Start X starts from the bottom left corner, Start Y starts from the up right here. You know, if you remember algebra or any graphing, you don't need to know it. So you go to select region, and it'll have a box which you click and you drag around like this, and then that'll become the Start X and Start Y. Or you can select a window, and this width and height also go with the Start X and Start Y. Those are where to start. This is how big you want it to be. Select window is you click this, and you can it'll show a blinking rectangle around what you're selecting. Like you select a certain item on your desktop or your page, whatever, you know. When recording options, you've got show rectangle around recorded area. This shows a small rectangle around the area. Make rectangle blink. Well, that's only if you want it to blink. Now here's three other options. Leave Hypercam window open. It'll stay open. Iconize Hypercam window to the taskbar. It'll iconize it to the taskbar. And then hide Hypercam window. We'll hide it. But make sure you click the desktop like this, and then press F2. If you hide it, you have to press F2, or the hotkey. And we're going to explain hotkeys in a second. Capture layered or transparent windows. May slow down performance. This is if you have layered or transparent windows, like in Vista. You have that cool arrow effect. So you might want to check this, but then you might not if you have a kind of slow computer. So we go to, here's the things down here. Start recording. You can pause, play it back. It'll play it back from the video file. Default everything. And then help if you still don't know what the hell you're doing. Now, we're going to look over hotkeys. Stop recording is F2. Pause resume is F3. Single frame shot and pause mode is F4. Now, I think you can redefine these if you click them. Yep. Select hotkey, so you just press whatever you want it to be. But I already got Hypercam running, so it won't register the hotkey for that application. Pan the capture area when the mouse is moved and the following keys are pressed. If you press any of these keys that you choose, or key to switch pan lock, then what it will do is whenever you move the mouse, that area you selected will move with the mouse. You know, like this little box, you know, the mouse inside of it, but probably not shown, and it'll move around where you're recording. Anyways, AVI file, you choose a place for it to go. So, you know, you go to the desktop or whatever. And now here's where it gets interesting. Add sequential number to the file name. It'll add 0001 to the first file, 0002 to the second, and so on. So it'll go up to a really huge number. Record sound. Click this if you want to record sound. Customize the sound options and sound. Rate frames per second. So the recording rate. If you're recording at 15 frames per second, every second you're going to have 15 separate pictures that make up your video file. And it's only the motion, the difference between the frames, which is done. That's because of the Xvid Mpeg-4 codec. But anyways, cursor full frame capture ratio. How many captures are you going to have to every frame? The more captures you have to a frame, the more motion it'll capture. And keyframe every is, the keyframe is when you're viewing it in Windows Media Player or YouTube, if you click ahead, like if you drag ahead, it'll leave off at wherever the keyframe is. So the less keyframe, the lower the number, the larger the file size is going to be, because the keyframe is the initial key and is the initial frame, and the changes between that are just documented as motion. But if you set it to a higher value, you'll save some space, but when you try to click ahead to view the rest of it without viewing the other crap you don't want to see, then it'll only leave off at a certain point, maybe halfway through the file or so on. Video compressor. This is what you have. I recommend either FFDShow video codec, and you can configure it. You see here, it has all this cool stuff. Divx, full frames if you're playing a game and that game requires you to need all your CPU. So if you choose a regular compressor, it'll eat up most of your CPU. And Xvid. Xvid is a free Mpeg-4 codec, and it's easy to configure. I got mine set to highest quality, but it's also got a calculator so that you can set it to a certain size and everything. That's awesome. And it's got other options as well. I don't want to explain that since we're just going through this, but anyways. Set frame compression quality to whatever you want. I set it to 100%. Okay. So, sound. If you chose record sound, then here's your sample quality, sample size. 8-bit sounds like kind of raspy like crap, but it saves on file size and uses less CPU. 16-bit uses 16-bit basically doubles the size and you require more CPU. And then there's sample rate, how many times the sound is sampled per second. The more samples, the better the sound, but the more space it'll take and the more CPU time. You might want to set 22,050 if you're only recording for YouTube, since that's what YouTube uses. Other options. Record cursor and add starburst to the movie when the mouse is clicked. Record cursor is explanatory. That's what you see right here. Add starburst to the movie when the mouse is clicked. You can choose the starburst size, and then you can choose the colors of what you want, and yeah. So mouse click sound volume. You got this volume right here. I set mine to 50% so it's not too loud. And here's a cool feature: screen notes. New note, edit note, read notes. You can set A and go la 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 blah, shh, and then you can click, and then you can go to settings or whatever. And that's pretty interesting. So you can add little screen notes that you drag in or whatever. So I'm just gonna get rid of this. I don't need them. I'll go to license, and it'll have, you know, this. So yeah, that's about it. If you still don't know Hypercam, you need to click help, and you need help. So that's all for now. This is Frosty Owns going out.